I'd like to speak a little bit about Parshas Zachor and a little bit about Kriyas Megillah. Okay. So, the halacha says in Hilchas Megillah, Misha Teifis B'yadei Megillah She'enek Sheira. Someone was holding in his hand a Megillah that's not kosher. For example, it's a Chumash. Someone has a Chumash in his hand while they're learning the Megillah. Lo Yikrei Meshatz. He should not read together with the Shliach Tzibur. Ela Shemea V'Shoisik. He should listen to the Shliach Tzibur learning, and he should be quiet.
Unless he has a kosher Megillah, it says?
Right. If he has a Chumash or Megillah that's not kosher, he shouldn't.
He should not.
He should not
Just
say the
kosher
words.
Megillah.
If he has a kosher Megillah, we'll see in a second. So the halacha says if someone has a non-kosher Megillah in his hand, or a Chumash in his hand, he should not say the words together with the Shliach Tzibur. He should be quiet. And what's the reason for that?
Of course,
the reason is
someone will hear you do it, and then they'll be hearing you. Huh?
Right. So the reason is because if someone hears you laning, he may put his ear to you and not to Shliach Tzibur, and he won't be able to Kriyas Megillah.
What's the point of you even saying it on yourself? When you have to get it?
Very good. So it says here that if you have a non-kosher Megillah, you don't say it to yourself. The question is, how about if you have a kosher Megillah? You have a Megillah, a kosher Megillah in front of you, and you want to say it together with the Shliach Tzibur. Should you do it, or should you not do it? So the Sha'ar Tzion says over here, Im koydem etoich Megillah ksheira, gam ken yesh lizar likrei b'lachash, v'loy l'sayeh l'chazan. Im loy kishem mechaven ha-mesayeh l'hoytz l'chol mishit lev l'kriyasai. If someone has a kosher Megillah in his hand and he's laning, now if he's laning out loud and the guy next to him is listening to him, hears him, and he hears him over the Shliach Tzibur, what happens is the person who's laning it out loud, if he doesn't have in mind to be moitzi anybody that hears, so the person who's listening to him is not being yetzer.
What about somebody read Shabbos?
Right.
You're not supposed to hear two voices either, right?
Right. So that's right. You can't hear two voices at once. So I'm hearing one voice. So now maybe the person who's listening will end up hearing the voice of the person who's laning, even from a kosher Megillah. But the person who's laning from a kosher Megillah doesn't have a mind to be moitzi him.
He also didn't make the brachas.
I was just going to say.
No, okay. So the brachas, the brachas you yetz with the brachas with the person who's.
You can do that?
Yeah, you can yetz with the brachas. Yeah, you can do that. So I just want to break it down.
Brachas got nothing to do with who reads it.
Right.
Somebody can make the bracha, and another person can read it, just like Haftorah, right? So if somebody can bracha.
We'll see in a second.
Or a guy
that's what I want to get to it. That's what I want to get to it.
Can we talk about a microphone yet? That's going to happen.
We'll get to that too.
Over here?
Microphone.
We talked about that.
Not on chunks.
So the thing is like this. What's going on? What's going on over here when the Chazan makes the bracha? He lanes. Everyone's listening. What's happening? By Kriyas HaMegillah, the Chazan makes the bracha, he lanes the Megillah, everybody's listening. What's happening when we are listening? Is it the same thing as every Shabbos? The Balkaira lanes, someone makes the bracha, the Balkaira lanes, and everybody's listening? Is Kriyas HaMegillah the same thing as that? Or something else is happening?
You're supposed to read to yourself so now at the same time, but nobody else has to hear it.
We'll see in a second. That's supposed to. We'll see. We have to figure out what's happening here. Everything looks the same. You come into shul, the Bakar is laning the Megillah, everyone's listening. Shabbos, the Bakar is laning, everybody's listening. Is it all the same thing? And there's another thing, Parshas Zachor. When you lane Parshas Zachor, what's happening? Is it also the same thing? So I'm going to show you there's three different things happening. One thing is happening in Parshas Zachor, a different thing is happening by Kriyas Megillah, and a different thing is happening by regular Kriyas Torah of Shabbos. It's three different things that are happening, and there'll be a lot of different nafkaminas what to do. In Hilchas Kriyas Torah it says like this: Lo yikru shnayim. Two people should read together. El ha'oile kairei the person who gets the aliyah should lane the aliyah, v'shatz shaisik, and the shliach tzibur should be quiet. Oi, or shatz kairei, the shatz should lane, v'oila lo yikarei b'kol ram, and the oila shouldn't say it out loud. When someone gets an aliyah, he has to lane quietly together with the shliach tzibur. Why? That it shouldn't be a bracha levatala. Now, what does that mean?
Underline quietly.
Yeah.
Quietly.
Underline quietly.
100%.
Everybody should know that.
100% speak quietly.
Most people saying that?
Because if you lane loud,
other people say
just
it loud.
the
if you're saying too loud and you mess up the balkar, you should not do that. You should not do that. You should quietly to yourself.
I've had that experience.
And it says, right.
What he says, that's all. You don't have to read.
Ella shetzarach likrois benachas shaloi yashmiya la'aznav. First halachah. You have to lane quietly because you lane loud and you mix up the balkara. It's the wrong thing to do.
Well, people hear you instead of balkara.
That's not a problem.
That's not a
We'll see in a second that's a problem.
That's not a problem?
We'll see in a second. Here it's not a problem, maybe. We'll see in a second why.
Well, because you're the first Sefer Torah.
Right? So the Bir Halacha brings down a shaila over here. If someone gets an aliyah and he can't lane, he doesn't know how to read, let's say. Someone gets an aliyah and he doesn't know how to read the words. Right? Is it okay or not? So the Bir Halacha comes out that it's not okay. You should not give an aliyah to somebody who himself can't lane, and he explains like this. But there's a question. We're going to go through every step here. The Bir Halacha, he shouldn't get an aliyah. Why not? He says someone wants to bring a raya, the Taz, wants to bring a raya from a Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi says, by Megillah, if someone comes up to lane the Megillah, so one person can make the bracha, and the other person can't read it. There he says it's not a problem. By Megillah, it's not a problem. By Megillah, if one person gets the aliyah, he makes the brachas for the Megillah, and someone else lanes the whole Megillah, and the person who's standing there made the brachas doesn't read it, it's not a problem, says the Yerushalmi. Says the Taz, the same thing should apply by every time you have a aliyah Shabbos. If the person who gets the aliyah cannot read, it's okay. Says the Bir Halacha, no. There's two different things happening by Kriyas HaTorah and by Megillah, and I'll explain. Kriyas HaTorah is not a chiv on each yachid to lane the Parshas HaShul. It's not that every person has a chiv, I have to lane Parshas Tzav this week. It's not the chiv. It's a chiv on the tzibur. The tzibur has to lane together Parshas Tzav. This week we have to lane everybody together Parshas Tzav. What does that mean? Someone gets up there, he makes the brachas, and he lanes for everybody the Parsha. If somebody happens not to have come to Shul Shabbos, he was sick, and he missed the Parsha, he doesn't have to make it up. He doesn't have to go ahead and lane by himself the Parsha. Maybe Shnai Mikra V'Chataga, it's something else. But as the Chiv of Kriya B'Tzibur, he doesn't have to make it up.
That's the heter for the Kiddush Club. Right?
I said if he was sick.
No, they go out your mouth here. They're missing Haftorah, and that's a whole different ballgame.
So there's no chiv on each yachid.
Depends on your Kiddush Club.
No, there's no chiv on each yachid. There's chiv on the tzibur. If someone walks out from the laning of the tzibur, he's a person on the tzibur. That's for sure. But you don't have to make it up because if I missed it, you have to make it up. Next week you don't have to do that. Megillah, if someone didn't hear the Megillah, wasn't in shul, of course, he has to make sure he hears the Megillah. What's the difference? Because Kriyas HaTorah is a chiv on the tzibur. The tzibur has to hear the Parshas HaShavua. Megillah is a chiv on Kol Yachid V'Yachid. Each person has to hear the Megillah by himself.
You don't need a minyan for Megillah, right?
You don't need one, you should have one. You're supposed to have Megillah. Yeah. So, the chiv on Megillah is each Yachid and Yachid by himself. So now, says the Bir Halacha like this. It comes Shabbos. One person makes the brachas on the Torah, and the other person lanes. I made the brachas. If I'm not laning, what's the other person doing? He's laning on what? Being moitzim me? How's being moitzim me? I have no chiv to lane. By Kriyas Megillah, he says, since I have a chiv to lane the Megillah, each yachid has a chiv. You have to listen to this. It's a deep svar that the Bir Halacha is saying. By Kriyas Megillah, that when you lane the Megillah, every person has a chiv to lane the Megillah. So if I go ahead and make a bracha, and you're laning, I can be yoytze with your kriya shemei ka'ina. We know as a klal shemei ka'ina. That's only if I have a chiv to do something. If you're sitting here and you're doing something, you're learning a piece of Gemara. Not shemei ka'ina. I'm not yoytze with yours. Shemei ka'ina is only if I have a chiv and you have a chiv, and you're saying it and I listen. I'm yoytze with your chiv. That's shemei ka'ina. But if I don't have a chiv to lane, no shemei ka'ina. I'm yoytze with your listening. No. Says the Bir Lacha. Therefore, Kriyas HaTorah on Shabbos, when the Chazan makes the bracha and he's laning, so the Oyla makes the bracha and the Shatz or the Balkaira is laning. So I'm not yoytze with his laning. There's no shemei ka'ina. I don't have a chiyuv. If I lane quietly to myself, that's not a bracha levatala. But if I'm not laning quietly to myself, I made a bracha and I'm not laning afterwards. That's why it's a bracha levatala. Masha'enki by Kriyas and Megillah, it's a whole different thing.
So how do you get around giving someone a liyah that can't read?
So he says that there was a heter by a summa, so because it was we're not going to not give summas aliyah, so it was saimich. He brings down a machlokes it's about the Bir Lacha, and he says we're only saimich on it on certain circumstances. For example, he says a summa, a blind person who can't lane from the Torah, you never give him an aliyah, will be saimich on that kula. But it's only a kula.
Is that the reason that someone's not from some shul don't go liyah? Is that the reason?
No, it's different. Someone's not Hashem and Shabbos anyway. Can't go liyah. So it's not.
Everybody holds that, or there is the
everybody holds that,
except those that give.
Yeah, someone's not Hashem and Shabbos.
No, we're hoping that week he's Hashem and Shabbos.
Any Kirov place can't hold by that.
Yeah. I don't want to get involved. That's a complicated child. It's a very complicated child. Pasha someone's not Hashem and Shabbos.
Especially if you know it ahead of time.
Can't get an aliyah. There are some coolest. This is a complicated pasha. So by Kriyas HaMegillah, since it's a din of shemei ka'ina, because everyone has a chiyuv to learn the Megillah, so therefore, if I make the bracha and I listen to the Balkaira, I'm yoytze my chiyuv. It's not a bracha levatala. I made the bracha to fulfill my shemei ka'ina. But on a regular Shabbos, when you're laying the pasha, you make a bracha and you don't say the words together with the Balkaira. It's a question of bracha levatala, because you're making a bracha on nothing. There's no shemei ka'ina. You're not yoytze your chiyuv. There's no chiyuv to be yoytze. That's the chiluk between Megillah and Shabbos laning. Now, there's another few nafkaminas, another few differences. So when someone has a Megillah, a kosher Megillah in front of him, what should he do? The answer is, if someone has a kosher Megillah in front of him, say along, inside, word, why not? If you could do it yourself, why should we be able to shemei ka'ina?
Because it might confuse you. You might miss.
So that we get that. That's what the Bir Lacha says. The Sha'ar Tziyun says that if someone else is going to listen to you, and by mistake hear you and not the shots, and you don't have a mind to be might to him, then you messed up that person. So if you're laning word for word, and people can hear around you, have a mind that are being might to everybody around you, also whoever hears it.
No, but for yourself, by you sing along. You can make a mistake.
Something else, okay, fine. If you make a mistake, fine. Don't do it. But you're definitely gaining something. If you have a kosher Megillah and you're saying word for word, you're definitely gaining something, because you're fulfilling your chiyuv by yourself without shemei ka'ina. Shabbos, when you're hearing the Balkaira lane, there's no reason in the world why somebody should lane along with the Balkaira. The only reason is he wants to be Mavasedra, and he doesn't have time, or it's easier to do it while the Balkaira is laning. So you lane quietly to yourself, and it's a shnai mikra v'chatagim at least one time when you lane together with the shots. That's the only thing you can have on Shabbos.
Unless he has the aliyah, and then he should.
No, if he has an aliyah, he has to. If he has an aliyah, he has to not having an aliyah. Right. So it's a big difference. Shabbos laning, there's no reason why a person has to say word for word together with the chazan, the Malchayim. There's no reason for it. Megillah, there is. When you lane the Megillah, you have a chiyuv to lane the Megillah. Therefore, you can say along word for word together with the chazan. One big difference. Another big difference, they say,
from a kosher Megillah.
From a kosher Megillah. If it's not a kosher Megillah, you have to hear the chazan. Shemei ka'ina. It's not a kosher Megillah. There's another difference, they say. The halacha is that we find it in Hilchas Tefillah by Yom Naram. If you have a shot that gets up there, it says don't put up a shliach tzibur that's in a fight with somebody with the tzibur. You put up a shliach tzibur that's in a fight with somebody in the minyan, and he has in mind not to be mighty to that person. You're laughing? It's a first halacha.
This is not funny.
It's a first halacha.
Like that.
It's a.
More like a
I would hope that-
Can you imagine he goes after the guy, after Kol Nidri says, I didn't have you in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the halacha says.
After Kol Nidri, right?
The halacha says that you should not put up a shot that's in a fight with somebody. Why? Because they may have a mind not to be moitzed to that person. And what happens?
Food for thought.
The halacha is that if the shliach tzibur, who has a chiv to be moitzed the whole tzibur, has a mind not to be moitzed one person, nobody is yetzer.
That's the way it works?
That's the way it works. Nobody is
Nobody.
yetzer. Nobody is yetzer. That's the halacha.
Nobody.
Either all or nobody. The shots goes up there,
It's all or nothing.
and he has in mind not to be moitzed one person. He's not moitzed anybody.
You're all in trouble.
That's a pretty bad.
Everybody is in trouble.
That's dangerous.
Why?
Yeah.
How?
Because it's a chiv tzibur. If it's tzibur, it's a chiv. And if the tzibur is not yaitzer, one person is out of the tzibur is not yaitzer, the whole tzibur, it shows the koyach hatzibur. It shows how important the tzibur is. If it's a chiv on the tzibur to do it, yeah, that's why it says,
A mercenary.
Yeah, that's why it's
yeah,
Does it also include himself?
himself also. He himself also is in yaitzer. He himself also is in yaitzer.
That's something they should learn.
Yeah, so Kriyas HaTorah on Shabbos, right? Someone goes and lanes Kriyas HaTorah on Shabbos. It's a chiv tzibur that everybody has to hear the thing, the Kriyas HaTorah. So if he has in mind not to be moitzed one person, nobody's yaitzer. By Kriyas HaMegillah, it's not that way. Kriyas HaMegillah, it's a chiv al kol yachid v'yachid. Each person has his own chiv. What's the shliach tzibur doing? Shemei Koina. You're listening to me. You yaitzer Shemei Koina. If you yaitzer Shemei Koina, so I can be moitzed, you can be moitzed. If he excludes one person, so that person is not yaitzer maybe, but it doesn't ruin the whole tzibur. So by Megillah, he could exclude one person maybe.
Or he doesn't have to have people in mind.
When somebody,
He has not people in mind.
He has to.
He has not people in mind.
somebody take upon himself to be shliach tzibur, it's mean shliach for each one in the tzibur, no?
Yeah.
You can exclude somebody.
No, but if he's not a chiv on the tzibur, he could. I could say I want to be moitzed. Everybody has one person. If it's a chiv tzibur, the halacha is that nobody's yaitzer, because it's a chiv in the whole tzibur, and you want to break up the tzibur, it's nothing. It's either all or nothing. Mashenki by Kriyas HaMegillah, it could be, it's different. Now this is all Kriyas HaTorah and a regular Shabbos and Mikra Megillah. There's a third thing called Parshas Zachor. Now Parshas Zachor is different than laning a regular Shabbos. It's different than Kriyas HaMegillah. Parshas Zachor, we're coming to fill our chiv of what? Of Zachor Eis Asher Asal L'cha Amalek. That's the chiv we have to remember it. Remember it once a year. The Gemara learns out. The person forgets. Once every 12 months he forgets. Therefore you have to remember it. Zachor, remember once a year what Amalek did to you. And the Magen Avraham is down to Rishonim that holds that it's a chiv. The chiv doesn't mean I should just remember. Not just that I remember.
Feel it.
You have to have it.
Hate.
You have to say it from a Torah. You have to from a Torah, B'tzibur. That is the din of Zachor. I don't want to go into it. I heard Rabbi Eisenberg speaking about it a little bit. I don't know how we know exactly that the chiyuv Zachor is from a klaf and B'tzibur. But that's the chiyuv. Now, when I'm coming to shul and I'm being Yosef Parshas Zachor, so the chayra is Shemei Koina. It's different than a regular Kriyas HaTorah. Now it's more like Megillah, because I have to go ahead. I have a chiyuv Zachor. I have to remember. And if it's a chiv kol yachid v'yachid, so Parshas Zachor maybe the chayra goes into the same din as Megillah. But some people want to taina that Parshas Zachor is even more than Megillah. You can't be yaitzer with Shemei Koina, because Zachor means you should speak it out with your mouth. You should speak it out with your mouth exactly what happened with Amalek. Now, if I'm sitting at shul and the shatz is laning and I'm not saying it along with him, someone kind of want to say you're not yaitzer the mitzvah. You have to speak it out per. Most of the Achronim argue, and they hold that you're Yoitza with Shemei Koina, a Parshas Zachor, and it's not kedai that everybody should say it out loud, because if everybody's going to say it loud, then you won't even hear the shots. If you want to be Yoitza that shita, afterwards, you can say it again, a pair, from the Chumash by yourself, if you want to be Yoitza that shita. But definitely, there's a din of Shemei Koina that everybody has to hear what the shots are saying. And if someone has a kosher Sefer Torah, he stands right next to the Sefer Torah, he can look in and say word for word with the shots, because he has a kosher Sefer Torah.
So why are women not necessarily Mechiyah for Zachar, but Megillah are?
Megillah is Afheim Ha'yivah.
Sorry, what?
Megillah is a different reason why. Afheim Ha'yivah. That's why they're Mechiyah for Megillah.
Women are not obligated to Zachar?
Women are obligated. Pashas are not.
No.
Pashas not.
They should come, but not.
So does that same concept you said, I mean, you're going to hear it, and you're not going to say Zachar with the Balfour, does that apply to repeating Shemona Esrei? So because it's repeating Shemona Esrei, especially on Shabbos, the guys like to sing out loud with the, you have to hear every word that the Chazan's saying, and
you don't have to say every word, no.
Is it the same type of
No,
thing?
no, it's not the same thing. Not the same thing. The Chazan davening Shemona Esrei allows the same thing as Kriyas HaTorah. If you by Kriyas HaTorah and you don't hear every word, it's okay. You're supposed to listen to every word of Kriyas HaTorah. You're not supposed to talk during Kriyas HaTorah for other reasons. But if you happen not to hear every single word of Kriyas HaTorah, you walk out to the bathroom and say, come back and you missed the beginning of an Aliyah, it's not like you walk down in the middle of Pashas Zachar and you missed the pasuk. Pashas Zachar, the Megillah, you have to hear every single word. If you don't hear every single word, you're not Yotze. Mashenk Kriyas HaMegillah, it's a Chiv Tzibur. And if a Yochid missed a word here, a word there, it's not a problem.
Right, that's because of the tefillah tzibur.
Right, it's a chiv tzibur. Same thing with tefillah. Right, when the shat is repeating the Shemona Esrei, it's a chiv on the tzibur also. Fine, so that's a chiluk between Kriyas HaMegillah, Kriyas HaTorah, the regular Shabbos, and maybe Pashas Zachar, maybe a little bit different. But definitely Kriyas HaMegillah and Kriyas HaTorah every Shabbos is two totally different things. One is a chiv on the tzibur, and one is a chiv on Chol Yachid V'Yachid. I'm going to speak a different Indian, not about Kriya, but about what is the mitzvah's Zechiras Mechias Amalek. So we know we have to remember to erase Amalek, and no one today is going around and looking for an Amaleki to kill him, right? That's not what's happening. So we have. Amphit has his twinkle in his eyes over there.
That's what you said.
He does. He's done it.
You have to know he's an Amaleki before you kill him.
Exactly.
Ask him.
Yes.
If you hate Jews, he's an Amaleki.
So there's definitely to remember what happened when Amalek did to us.
He walks like a duck.
The whole world.
He talks like a duck.
He is one.
He's an amateur.
So I just want to give a little insight on Mechias Amalek, a different machshav, not the regular one. And I'm going to start off. I spoke about this once in the Chayil. I don't think anybody was there, so I can repeat it. There's a halacha you have to remember Zachar Eitash Asal Amalek. So why do we do it once a year? We do it once a year because the Gemara says a person forgets every 12 months. And the obvious question is, a person forgets every 12 months, right? What's with this year?
That's right.
This year was an Ibayar. So what happened? It's 13 months since the last time we lay in Parsha Zachar.
No, it's not.
No, actually, we read in between.
Keep talking.
Shalach.
Yeah, but did you have a mind to be Yaitza?
Shalach, we did.
Did you have a mind to be
Some
Yaitza?
places do say, look,
Okay.
make an announcement.
The cousin does.
You have to do it yourself, right? You can do
repeated-
Parsha Keseitze. Parsha Keseitze before Rosh Hashanah. You can make an announcement. This year is the Ibayar. Please remember, please have in mind to be Yaitza Zachar Esash Aslach Amalek.
Right.
Did they announce that in your shuls?
No.
No.
Sometimes.
They're where?
But how could it be that way? There was a Zman.
Not here, maybe.
Huh?
Isn't there a Zman?
Not this year.
No, those man do it. They
Nobody-
happen to put
nobody
it
would
next
hear
to Purim.
In the family minion, we used to do that every year. If we had a minion on that parsha, we'd make an announcement saying whoever wasn't around for parsha Zachar, don't say for it. Keep in mind that Balkori keeps.
No, that's a different
Yeah,
issue.
yeah, 'cause someone
It's a different
wasn't
issue.
there.
If you were there, everybody was there for Parsha Zachar. Still
Everybody
has the
was
same
there,
problem.
and it's now this year we know it's going to be 13 months till the next time you lay in Parsha Zachar. So Parshas Keseitze, you should give a clap. Say right side. This year it's going to be more than 12 months.
The word twice?
Remember to have in mind by Parshas Keseitze to Yitzhak Parshas Zachar. The man said the Minhag was not that way. The Minhag was not that way. They don't give that clap. Now what's the reason for it? The Chassam Sofer asks this question, and the Chassam Sofer is a beautiful teretz, and he says, I'd like to elaborate on this a little bit. He says that 12 months a person forgets. So the Gemara says, if this year Pasha Zachar is going to be 13 months apart from each other, he says the halacha changes the metzias. Because even though usually after 12 months you forget, this year there's 13 months between two Pasha Zachars, the Torah changes the metzias and you won't forget, you'll remember. That's what the Chassam says.
Then why isn't the halakha 1 year?
Why is what?
Why is the halakha 12 months and not 1 year? If it was 1 year,
usually
then it incorporates the flexibility.
Usually everything else if you get to 12 months. Everything else if you get 12 months. That's why Avelis only goes 12 months, even in Ibiyon.
Right.
Everything else if you get 12 months. This, since you only do once a year, the halacha changes the metzias.
In order to be, when other rishon comes about, some triggers in your brain.
Yeah, remember this. Now, it sounds funny, right? But I'll tell you like this. Okay? And I think that is what a molech is all about. And I'll explain to you. There's a chinuch that says in the mitzvah of Makkah. You know, it's the mitzvah of Makkah to put a fence around your roof that no one should fall off. So it says the Makkah. So says the chinuch. I don't understand. What do I have to put a fence around your roof for? If Hashem wants a person to fall off, he'll fall off. If not, not. Why do I have to go put a fence around your roof? That's his question. Which he answers. It says like this, the chinuch. Chinuch says that Hashem created the world, and of course, he can do whatever he wants. Everything's in Hashem's hands. And if he doesn't want someone to fall off, he won't fall off. But when Hashem created the world, he put a certain teva into the world. Nature. What we call nature. And he says, if someone's going to hit somebody over the head, he's going to crack his skull. That's nature. Right? If someone's going to walk off a roof, he's not careful to fall off. Hashem put the world in a certain type of teva. And that's the way Hashem wants the world to run. He doesn't change the teva. Then he says, but you should know, there are certain people, tzaddikim, that they pull themselves out of it. They take themselves out of that. And they don't have the teva ruling on them. They rule over the teva.
Oh, the mice, snakes.
He says all the mice in the Gemara, the and the Chinuch brings certain stories from the Gemara that we see that the tzaddikim, they are past that. They're above the teva, and they rule over the teva, and not the teva rules over them. That's what the Chinuch says. So therefore, tzaddikim, they could do whatever they want. And then I'm a shubit. It doesn't make sense. How is that possible to happen? Then I'm a shubit to teva. We look at this chinuch and we say, okay, it's very nice. Don't do me, right? This teva is, I'm not a tzaddik. I mean, could be. I think I'm a 1% tzaddik, a 2% tzaddik. But in order to rule over the teva,
you're not walking off a roof.
Yeah, in order to rule over the teva, you have to be holding on a very lofty level. Says the Ramban in Iyuv. The Ramban says in Iyuv, with this chinuch sisod, it says, and it's not either you're this way or you're that way.
Exactly.
You could be in the middle, and you could be partially. The more a person says, I'm not going with the teva, meaning the more a person takes himself away from this world, and he's not interested in everything that's going on in this world, he's interested in Hashem, the more he believes in Hashem, the more he's oisik with Torah and mitzvahs, he pulls himself slowly and slowly away from the root of teva. And that's why we believe that we daven, right? Now, if you ask the question, someone's got sick, never, right? Everyone davens for him, and they come back, they do the tests, everything is fine. What happened? We believe, the teva should be that the person should have still been sick. We daven to Hashem, and we believe we could change the teva. And if we don't believe that, we have a problem with our amunah. We all believe that. That if someone is sick, we daven for him, and it gets better. It means even though we're not teva, it should have gone a certain way, our davening changed it. We really believe that our davening could change it. What is that? That is taking ourselves away from the teva. And whatever we believe that we're not meshubah to the teva, we're away from the teva. And the Bnei Yissaschar says, Mendel knows this one, the Bnei Yissaschar says in Parshas Bereshis, when Adam was created, and we heard a shir here from Rabbi Meiselman about the teva, the first 6 days of creation, was a certain type of teva, after that it changed. When Hashem created the world, and it was the Malam Derech HaTeva. We all know that. And in the first 6 days of creation, Adam had a baby within a couple of hours. Things grew in seconds. After Adam ate from the Eitz Hadas, Hashem said, Adkan. Now, I'm putting the world into a certain teva, regular teva, which we have till today. What happened? Says the Bnei Yissaschar that it says in the pasuk the curse that Hashem gave to Adam Rishon was kites v'dar dar tatzmiach. You should plant kites as thorns and dar dar is thistles tatzmiach. It says in the Bnei Yissaschar like this. There's two. What does dar dar mean? What is the word dar dar? You don't find anywhere else. Yeah, of course. But you don't find any place else. What do you find such a word dar dar? It says in the Bnei Yissaschar like this. There's two psukim in the Torah, two letters in the Torah that are bigger. What are they? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad has a big dalid. Lo yishtachave le'el acher. Don't bow down to other big reish. Why? So it says if someone's going to read Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the dal and the reish is a small difference. The tag at the back, the dal sticks out a little bit. If someone's going to read Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad and he's going to change it to a reish by mistake, Chas v'shalom Hashem Achar. You can't say that. Lo tishtachave le'el acher. Don't bow down to other gods, right? If someone would write it, the reish to a dalid, what happens? Lo tishtachave le'el echad. Chas v'shalom, don't bow down to Hashem, right? Therefore, says the Bnei Yissaschar, Torah wrote it big, the dalid and the reish. Don't get mixed up between the dalid and the reish. Don't get mixed up between the two of them. Make sure you know Hashem Echad and there's El Acher, Lo Tishtachave Le'el Acher. Says the Bnei Yissaschar, that is the curse that Hashem gave to Adam Rishon. If a person is a real Maimin by Hashem and he believes that everything is from Hashem, he has no problem with Teva, he has no problem with planting, Hashem will send the Parnasa, everything. The curse that Hashem gave to Adam Rishon was you're going to be struggling from now on between the Dal and the Reish. You're not going to know what's doing for Hashem, what I'm doing for myself. It's going to be hard for you to rip yourself away from Olam Hazeh. You're going to be struggling with the Dal and the Reish. Koitz v'dar dar tatzmiach. Your whole life you're going to be struggling now with the Dal and the Reish. Dar is Dalad Reish, Dalad Reish. This is what Bnei Yissaschar says. And then he says, Koitz, the word Koitz, what's the gematria of the word Koitz? 196. The difference between Dalad and Reish is 200, Dalad is 4. The difference between Dalad and Reish is what? Is Koitz. 196. So says the Bnei Yissaschar, Koitz v'dar dar tatzmiach. The difference between Dalad and the Reish is what you're going to be struggling with your whole life. Understand in the Bnei Yissaschar. Amalek came in after Klal Yisrael, all the Nisim. What was Amalek's Avera? Amalek's Avera was a hot bathtub, one person jumps in, cools it down. What happened? Hashem showed the world, especially Klal Yisrael, that there's no teva. I can do whatever I want. And everyone was scared of Klal Yisrael because Klal Yisrael was in a matzav that they were malam b'derech hateva. That day Hashem split the Yam Suf for them, Nisim, everything. There was no teva for Klal Yisrael. Amalek comes in and he says, there is teva on this world. And he jumped in and he cooled it down. And he said the whole thing is not true, and he answered everything that happened. It's apiderech hateva. It's not really nisim. He explained everything. That no, it's all derech hateva. And when Hashem showed Klal Yisrael all the nisim in Mitzrayim and all the nisim that came out of Mitzrayim, Hashem was showing them with the ma'alam of derech hateva. Klal Yisrael is the ma'alam of derech hateva. Amalek came and said no. Anything that happened, we could explain it. There are some people today that try to do that still. They claim that they're from our circles, but it's not that way. If anybody's going to try to explain that anything that happened in Mitzrayim and this is apiderech hateva, it's a question of apicursis. Because Hashem says nisim, it says in the Torah, all the nisim that happened, all these things were the ma'ila miderech hateva. Amalek came in and he said, he ran to Batri Sachas, means he's trying to explain everything as miderech hateva. So I want to suffer. I forgot who it was from. The Amalek, the word Amalek, what's the gematria of the word Amalek? Ayin Mem Lamed Kof. Is the same gematria as El Acher. To the exact number. El Acher is gematria Amalek. Amalek tries to throw into us that you could explain everything. Everything could be explained that b'derech hateva, there's no Hashem. That's Amalek's. Amalek tries to do to us. So we say in the Chumash it says, Mechama Lashem Ba'amalek Midar Dar. How do you spell the word Dar? Dalid Vav Reish. In the Torah, there's no vav. It's missing the vav. Mechema l'Hashem Amalek midar dar. What's Amalek's mechama going to be for us? Daled reish, daled reish. He's going to confuse us constantly between daled and the reish and daled and the reish. So today you can say, where's the Amalek today? You don't have any Amalekim. The Torah says, anytime someone tries to tell Klal Yisrael that everything's b'derech hateva and you can daven to Hashem, yeah, so this happened, that happened, everything is explainable and everything is answerable without Hashem, that's Amalek. That is Amalek. They say a story about a person who was looking for a parking spot, right? And he told Hashem, if you find me a parking spot, I'll give $1,000 to tzedakah. He comes in and the guy pulls out right away and says, okay, I don't need you anymore. I got a spot. Right? I got a spot. I don't need you anymore, Hashem. Unfortunately, we do in our lives also a lot. We daven with Hashem, something happens, and we don't look back. 1 second. This thing that happened is only because I davened. Only because I davened.
That's why we have Purim.
That's why we have Purim. So that is Amalek. That's today's Amalek. Even though you don't find Amalek in the street, you're not going to go kill an Amaleki. But the Amalek today is this dar. This that we struggle between what's Heva, what's Nisim, what Hashem could do, what's because of what we did, we davened, and things happened, we learned, things happened. That's our Mechama Hashem Amalek, dar.